Hey everybody, welcome to our Mindful Monday class session for today. Today we're going to look at muscle growth. And I know for some of us, muscle growth seems a little bit of a, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready to go there type of topic. But I want you to think about all the things we do or have done in class in terms of exercises, in terms of activities. How are we developing our muscles? What are our muscles going through to get better, to get leaner, to get stronger, to be more developed, which is going to help you in the long run for your overall wellness in life. So we're going to explore that today. But first, we're going to take a look at Kevin Hart kind of doing a little quick workout of his own with his trainer. He only does workouts in the way Kevin Hart would do it. He's comedic, he's into it, but he does work really hard, and especially since his journey from the car accident has been working harder to get back to what he was. I encourage you, while you have this time off, to even look at his YouTube channel, What the Fit, and you'll see a variety of episodes of him working out with other celebrities and people you might know, and they're going to talk about what fitness is, how to do it, and maybe a fun, creative way, again, that only Kevin Hart could do. So I'll let you watch this clip, but we're going to explore muscle growth today. And please keep an open perspective on it, because it's going to help you be better at what we do with your life with physical wellness.
It's one of the best gyms I ever seen. This straight out of Locked Up. What the? Hey man, who gonna care? This your baby treadmill. Oh, it all makes sense. Kev, it all makes sense. They put the baby treadmill here for you. Okay. Let's go, baby. Grind. Working. Getting better. Hinge a little better. Don't beat the feet. Oh, come on. Let's go. I ain't gonna stop recording either. Find success and failure. Come on.
So muscles are important. Just like Kevin Hart, you can find various ways to engage them. Now, your muscles are a band or a bundle of fibrous tissue. Okay, so it's, you think of often the bicep, but when someone flexes their bicep, you don't just see one little strand, right? It's a big bundle. It's a giant band together that's formed through fibrous tissues in your body or even animals. You think of a tiger, Tiger King. Tiger has those gigantic muscles in its legs. Same thing with like a lion. Okay, and the ability of a muscle is able to contract or produce movement in or maintain the position of your body parts. So that's why it's so important that we work on our muscles and develop them, because they're allowing you to move, twist, run, jump, turn, do everything you need to do on a daily basis, and do it without feeling constricted or without feeling like it's overwhelming you and putting too much strain on your body. Now, your muscle, it contains protein filaments, okay? And these protein filaments are called actin and myosin. And these slide past one another, producing a contraction that changes both the ligament in length and the shape of the cell. So when it contracts, those filaments help produce more, the bulging bicep look, or it helps put together more of that toned, lean muscle look. So muscles function to produce a couple of things. They put together to expand or lengthen your muscles. So you think of myself pushing out something like we do on a bench press. It's expanding. It's lengthening that tricep muscle. It's using your chest muscles to engage in the activity. Or it contracts and it shortens. So you see our great person there giving you the demonstration of contracting your muscles. So we think of the flex. That's shortening those muscles, making them super compact, super connected. It also allows you to be more explosive and have more power. So you see the woman there, she's doing a power clean. And so when you have more muscles, when you develop your muscles, you're able to exert that power or force on whatever object is in front of you, whether that be picking up something that's on the floor, picking up your backpack, pushing a cart, whatever it needs to do to exert force on an object or exert power, you rely on your muscles for it. So it's super important that you develop those muscles. Now there are three types of muscles that I want you to know about. These are the three main muscle types. The first is skeletal muscle. Now, these skeletal muscles, as you can see by the diagram there, they're made up of thousands and thousands of small muscle fibers. Okay, so it's not just one big bland muscle, like blah, here's our bicep muscles, here's my quad muscle or calf muscle. It's made up of so many different components, which is kind of cool when you think about it. And again, you see the actin and myosin. Okay, now these skeletal muscles, these are our movement muscles. They allow us to walk, they allow us to jump, they allow us to pick things up, they allow your body, your skeletal bones, to do the things that they do. Without your muscles in your upper body, you wouldn't be able to raise your arm. Without your muscles in your lower body, you wouldn't be able to put right foot in front of your left foot. So they allow you to move. Now they are voluntary muscles. Skeletal muscles are things that you can control. So when you think about it, it's something that you can dictate. Again, you're going to put your right in front of your left. Well, you move those muscles. You're not having it done automatically for you. It is something you are over in control of. So they're voluntary. Skeletal muscle fibers, they're bound together. So as you look at here, this next GIF here, look at all the little things that make it up. Again, it's thousands of little muscle fibers, and they're bound together by one connective tissue, and then they communicate with the nerves and the blood cells within that area to allow you to know maybe when it's sore, when it's hurt, when it's being taxed because it's maybe you're trying to lift a lot of weight or move something that's really heavy. So all those muscle fibers bond together to allow you to do the things that you need to do. So skeletal muscle is huge, and that's what you're working on a lot of times when we do our squats or our bench presses or our main big muscles, because we're trying to allow our body to move better, to move longer, to not have injury, to not have stiffness. So skeletal muscles are our biggest component here when we're talking about muscle growth. There's two types as well. So type 1 is your slow twitch muscle fiber. They're geared more towards the movements of just generally what it sounds like, slow movements. So walking, so going more distance. Okay, some people have more type 1 muscle fibers in their body than others, and they're usually more great distance runners. They can usually perform activities for a longer period of time. They don't get worn out as much. Now type 2, that's a muscle that we want to develop as best we can, because these are the fast twitch muscle fibers that when formed and connected can give us more power, more explosion, more speed in the things that we do, or doing things simply with more ease. So you're not having to work as hard because those fast twitch muscle fibers are able to shoot off and fire off and perform the activities that you want to perform. Next, we have our smooth muscles. Now, these muscles are right around your body's internal organ system. So you see the picture of the smooth muscles around your intestines, around your stomach, okay? Now, they help your digestive system do its job. They help your respiratory system do their job. Same thing in the cardiovascular system and renal system and reproductive systems. They are engaged in all of those systems of the body around your essential and vital organs, and just like the name is, they are smooth. They're not rigid. They do its job in an excellent way. Okay. Now these are rounded, giving them the smooth-like appearance. So you can see the picture. It's more round in nature. It's good shaped, and so therefore smooth muscle. Why make it a harder name than it needs to be? Now this muscle is involuntary, meaning you do not control what this muscle does. You can't all of a sudden flex that smooth muscle around your small intestine. Sorry, you can't. We don't have that power yet. It does what it needs to do to protect those systems, and so when you're developing a stronger muscles and you have more smooth muscle built up inside your body, now it's able to do those great functions for the rest of your body. So you might not recognize your smooth muscles as being the essential part for your digestive system or for your renal system or reproductive systems. It does have a huge role. And so that's why this smooth muscle is essential to know about and make sure we are making sure we are taken care of, so that way we live a long and healthy life. Now our third muscle group is the cardiac muscles. And more specifically, this is our myocardium. Okay, this is the muscle that's allowing your heart to beat and your heart to thrive. It's found in between the endocardiogram and the sac that surrounds your heart. So your heart is kind of, it's not just free falling out there, it's not just hanging out there, it's surrounded by a sac that allows it to stay protected. And so this cardiac muscle makes sure your heart essentially is protected. The muscle cells are extremely close to one another so they stay strong, because if they were loose, if they were fragile, well, now that's not protecting your heart the way it should. So these muscles are super tight, they're super strong, they're not trying to let anything penetrate it whatsoever. Okay, it's joined to each other by intercalated disc. Okay, and so here's what that means. That they contain gap junctions. So that means the cells and these things called desmosomes, they hold their fibers together, and so when the heart contracts, they squeeze, they clench, they join together, so that way they are again protecting the heart and uniting together. And then when they release, when the heart is contracting and beating back and forth, they flow with it. Okay, so they're not just simply like an iron shield around your heart that can't move. They flex a little bit, but they grow tighter and tighter with each contraction. You see the heart wall diagram there. That helps you hopefully see what this muscle does. And guys, our cardiac muscles are so important. If we want to live a long, healthy life, protect that one heart that we have. Remember we were talking about our heart rate? Well, we need to make sure our cardiac muscles, our myocardiogram, is built up and is strong. So these are the three muscle groups that your body has within it. Now we focus more on the skeletal muscle, but rest assured the smooth muscle and the cardiac muscles are so important. But they overall play a role in your physical wellness. Okay, now I want you to pause right now in the middle of the lesson. I want you to do this on your own. I want you to draw maybe your greatest muscle flex pose that you got. We were going to do this with partners, but draw a picture or envision right now, close your eyes and picture yourself, flexing those muscles that you want to develop, that you work so hard to get by working either in the gym, working out at home, or just doing your daily activities. I want you to maybe have some fun and just picture what it might look like to have those developed skeletal muscles. Now we're going to look at how muscle growth actually occurs within your own body. But first I want to point out two things here. First of all, break the stereotype. I know often when we think of muscle growth and building muscle, we think of the person who is quote unquote jacked, or they're ripped, or they're just, their arms are bursting out of their sleeves, or a woman who is maybe going to pick up one weight one day and then day two she's going to be a bodybuilder. We need to break that stereotype. That's not how this process works. You are not going to go from someone who's never lifted a weight or engaged in muscle growth activities ever, and then all of a sudden, a week later, you're going to be the next, bodybuilding champion of the world. Not going to happen. So break the stereotype and understand that muscle development, muscle growth is beyond those things. Now, your muscles are great. They adapt. They overcome things. So when you put them under stress, when you put them under weight, they're going to adapt and they're going to work to be stronger. They're going to work to grow. And so they're amazing. Okay? Our bodies are really amazing, and so are your muscles. So let's take a look at how our muscles actually develop and actually grow. The first part of muscle growth and its process is resistance work. So that's when you put your muscles under any form of resistance or stress. So that could be lifting, exercising, that could be picking something up, moving something. You start muscle growth by putting the muscles under resistance. Step 2 in muscle growth is muscle trauma. You just work that muscle. You just put it under extreme duress, or you put it under some pressure. Now your muscles are basically going through a traumatic experience. They're breaking down. They're hurt a little bit. The actin and myosin, the blood vessels, all those muscle fibers, they've been impacted because of the work of resistance you put it under. So now your muscles are trying to figure things out as they've been traumatized. The third step of muscle growth centers around satellite cells coming to the rescue. So what these satellite cells are is when your muscle undergoes that resistance and trauma or injury, the satellite cells, they're released from around your membrane. Okay, they become activated and then re-enter the cell cycle of growth to try to put together from the trauma that you put your muscles under myofibers, similar to how even a baby's newborn's muscles are developed. So these satellite cells work to repair the muscle fibers, repair the parts of the muscle that's been most impacted by the resistance trauma. Therefore, it's starting to repair itself, get stronger, even grow a little bit. So these satellite cells are actively helping your muscles repair and get better, so they aren't sore and they aren't injured, they aren't traumatized, they can recover. Now our fourth step in the muscle growth process is muscle hypertrophy. Now hypertrophy is just this. It's the enlargement of an organ or tissue or muscle from the increasement in the size of its cells. So as those satellite cells are repairing the muscle that's been broken down, hypertrophy is the result of it. So it's enlarging the muscles. It's making it stronger. Your muscles, your body knows and recognizes, hey, this muscle really got impacted by a lot of trauma. I don't want this to happen again. So what does it do? It builds back slightly bigger, slightly stronger, so it can protect itself from the stress or resistance it's put under, because it realized there was maybe a weakness there. That's why you feel so like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can lift this amount of weight just yet, on the bench press or squat rack. But as you grow, as you gain more muscle and you try to lift more, there's hypertrophy that's going to happen. And that's the enlargement of the muscles. And this is where people get a little scared because they're like, am I going to gain, huge muscles? Certainly not. Depending on the amount of weight that you lift, that certainly impacts it. So if you're lifting heavier weights, yeah, there's probably going to be more hypertrophy there. If you're lifting lighter weights, doing it for lots more reps, so 12 to 15 reps, there's going to be some hypertrophy, but more the lean muscle variety. But that's next in our muscle growth process, muscle hypertrophy, getting a little bit bigger, getting a little bit stronger, getting a little bit larger. And then finally, the fifth step of the muscle growth process, your muscle components reset. Those muscle fibers are now fully formed. Those satellite cells repair the damage. The blood vessels are set. All the actin and myosin elements are together and where they should be again. And they're okay. They're ready to go. Your muscles have been broken down, but now they're all reset. And guess what? We go through the process all over again. The next workout, the next time your muscles are put under some resistance, it all goes on again. This is how we develop our muscles. Now, in the midst of all this muscle growth work, there is this thing called muscle protein synthesis naturally happening within your own body around the muscles to make those muscles even better, to make them stronger. So protein is an essential building block made up of amino acids of all muscles. That's why people will take protein supplements or have high protein diets, because they want to have more muscle growth. That's a side effect they're hoping to achieve. Now, here's the deal. It's helping repair those muscles that have been damaged by the intense resistance work that you put them under. Now, the opposing force to muscle protein synthesis is muscle protein breakdown, or MPB. So this is where protein is lost as a result of exercise, where the protein that you're hoping to use as a way to repair those muscles, make them stronger, isn't there. So here's how we determine if you're going to grow your muscles. If muscle protein synthesis outpaces or works quicker than muscle protein breakdown, you're going to gain muscle. You're going to grow the lean muscle. You're going to develop the lean muscle. You're going to get bigger, stronger muscles. If muscle protein breakdown, though, outpaces or outworks the muscle protein synthesis happening in your body, well, the opposite's going to happen. You're not going to grow the muscles. You're not going to get the benefits of the resistance work. You're not going to see those great results you're hoping to achieve. So muscle protein synthesis is essential when it comes to developing muscle. And for some people, it's different. We're all different. We're all made up differently. We all do things differently, and our bodies produce muscle differently. So a couple things that impact that is our growth hormone production. We all naturally do create and grow some growth hormones within our body. Everyone's different though. Some people produce it more efficiently, and they produce it in higher quantities than others. So that plays a role in your overall muscle growth. The other thing that plays a role is your gender and age. Females tend to not develop as much muscle as quickly just because of the genetic makeup, the biology makeup, the human anatomy makeup. Same thing with age. So someone who's younger doesn't have that full put together body yet. Your body's still developing and growing. So you're not going to put on as much muscle in your early teen years as compared to your later teen years or early 20s. So that plays a huge role. Someone who's older in their 40s and 50s, it's harder generally for them to gain more muscle growth. Not that it's impossible, but it's a little bit harder, and that impacts it. And then finally, a person's hereditary or genetic makeup. Be very honest with you. Some people are blessed with great genes and a great family line. They lift for one day or 1 week, and all of a sudden they lose that extra body fat and they put on lean muscle like no other. We all are jealous of those people. Others, it takes more time because it's harder for them to maybe develop certain muscles. Things like calves, for instance. Sometimes you can lift and do as many calf raises as you can, but those calves generally don't develop as you want them to. Part of it, genetic and hereditary makeup. So those play a role in your overall muscle growth.
Action. I wanna be a great one. My name's Inanna, and I moved out to California about 4 years ago to pursue my dream in acting. I wanna make $1 million, making all my days count, counting with my day ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Fail. That was a fail. Yeah. I'm exhausted. I'm still going. I realized that I could use social media in a way to speak my mind and to empower other girls that are going through similar situations. So I grew my following, and now I'm using that to transition into other things that I want to do. I have over 9 million followers on Instagram, over 3 million subscribers on YouTube, and I get hundreds of thousands of likes on photos, but there's been moments where I'm sitting there on my phone looking at it, and in reality, I'm just not happy with myself. I was like 155 pounds, and I'm 5'4". And no one would ever notice, I guess, because I would just position my body a certain way where no one would really see, or edit the photos a certain way. It was like, I don't want to edit my body. I rather do all the things to make my body get like that. When I started losing weight, I feel like people underestimated how much effort and discipline it took, because they were just like, well, would you lose like 5 pounds? I'm like, no, I lost a good 35 pounds and then gained muscle from it. LiveSum helped me realize it's not just about calories, but it's about your micro and macronutrients. It's about what is healthy versus what isn't, because I didn't have that education. I changed my diet by focusing on eating greens and clean foods and just staying away from anything that I didn't understand what was in it. For me, my hardest part was the eating, because training has always been in my routine. Like, I've always worked out, I've always loved fighting, boxing. I love tracking workouts because with the app, you can't make up excuses for yourself because it's written right there. I love being told, one more, and just like being yelled at. Like, that's the workouts I like. I've always been more of a tomboy, I guess. It just took so long for me to finally be happy with the way I look, and I feel like I never showed that. I always hid it. I'm vulnerable at heart, and I just don't like showing my vulnerability. So I feel like social media made me realize how to overcome it. Like, behind your greatest fear lies your greatest success. For me, weight loss was not about looking good. It was about feeling good, being confident in myself, being able to inspire and motivate others. The looking good just is like a bonus. You're like, oh yeah, I look good, but I feel good. That's the more important thing. I mean, that's what the point of all of this journey is, being finally comfortable in myself. And I want everyone to feel how awesome that feels, to just be like proud of yourself. It's great.
It's a really powerful story, and it's a reminder that we can all achieve our goals, whatever they are, for our overall wellness. Now, after we've talked about how muscle grows and all the things that it takes that's going on naturally within our body, how can we put it into practice? What can we do? Well, we know some of the generals, right? Like weight train, run. But there's yoga, there's Pilates, there's kickboxing, there's things like Tai Bo, which is kind of an element of kickboxing combined with some jumping and dancing. There's so many ways, as you can see here, for you to engage in muscle growth activities. I encourage you, find something that you like, that you enjoy, that might not seem like your favorite thing to do at the time. I get it. We all don't always love exercise or resistance work, but that you can find comfort and joy and realize, hey, this is going to help develop those muscles that I want to develop. Maybe there's a certain exercise that you want to do because you're like, hey, this is going to work on my legs or my glutes or my hamstrings or my biceps. Find those activities for yourself. Find things that can help you. I think it was very interesting to see all the equipment that is being produced now. Technology is catching up and allowing you to find in creative ways to work on your muscles. So I encourage you as well. Maybe you find something around the house that you can use to develop your muscles, or you find something at a store, or you find something online. Never limit yourself in what you can do to develop those muscles, because you only got one body, one mind, one heart for the rest of your life. What are the things you're going to be doing to take care of it? All right, well, that was muscle growth. Hopefully you found some techniques that you can use to grow those muscles. I sometimes like to use my dog Savannah. She's a big chunk, but she's a good weight to use for squatting. But next, you will need to check out your Canvas assignment page. Go on there, please read the directions and upload it for your assignment for our muscle growth lesson this week. Thank you, guys.